Hi, I'm Kim McLeod.
And I'm Gerald Richards, and welcome to Soul Kind Connections. We hope you enjoy our conversation today. Welcome back, everyone. Gerald here, and Kim.
Yes.
To talk back with you with Soul Kind Connections in our next episode, or whatever we're calling it. Whatever are we calling them? Episodes? Are they episodes in podcasts? Are they still
Yeah,
episodes?
I think they are. Yeah.
Still episodes. Okay, still episodes. So our next session today, we are talking about happiness.
We are indeed.
Happiness. Something that is, well, what makes you happy? Let's start there. What makes you happy, Kim? What makes you happy?
Oh, lots of simple things. That's that I love being at the beach, walking along, listening to the waves, just looking at the big blue sky. So it's always nice if we get that big blue sky. It doesn't happen that often in Scotland, but when we do, definitely to be at the beach and see it.
It's today. Today there's blue sky today.
Today it is. It's shining, sun shining today. And even better, a picnic. A picnic at the beach. A picnic at the beach with a friend. That's me. That's my ideal. Honestly, I love a picnic, and I love a picnic at the beach.
Yeah. Is that your happy place? The beach is your happy place?
Yeah. Beach is my happy place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I've also got really nice garden, and I can sit and look out. And at the moment, we've just had the lambs born in the field behind the house. So that's another happy place. So if you can't find me, I'm probably sitting outside watching the lambs.
Okay.
Because they run up and down, and they're just full of utter joy. Unless they get lost for their mum, but but most of the time they're in utter joy. So that's the thing. I think for me, it's connecting with people, and if I can just go, right, let's go for a picnic, and that's what everybody will know. The family always laugh at me. That's my thing, is just picnics. That's it. That's my ultimate happy space. And I want maybe some music to dance to while I'm at the beach as well. That would be we'll just fling all those things into the one thing. That would be it.
Put them all in. Put them all in.
Put them all in. Yeah. So what about you, Gerald? What makes you happy? What do you enjoy?
What makes me happy? That's a good question. What makes me happy? I mean, definitely spending time with my friends. Especially friends that I've known for a really long time. I had some friends in town a couple weeks ago, friends from college, who I've known now for 30, 40 years. This just being around people that know you well, and where there's things that you could just do and that are spoken and unspoken because you know each other so well. Like I have another friend of mine who was visiting, and I've known him for like, oh my God, it's been like, we met in San Francisco. I think we were in our 20s. And now he's moved, he lives in France, I live in the UK. We get together like once a year or every other year. We see each other a lot. But there's moments where we will just be, like, he and I can sit in silence. Like, we will sit at a coffee shop, and he will read the paper, and I'll read the paper. Or we'll be talking, or something like, and we'll just, like, that's fine. Or something will happen, and we'll both look at each other and go, and he's like, and he's one of those people, he's like, I know every one of your looks. Like, when you give someone a look, or you give a look, I know every one of your looks. And it's hilarious. So that happiness of like you, right? Connecting and being with people and being with friends. I love, and I say, probably many people know this about me, I love shopping for clothes. I love shopping for clothes. And buying something really good that you want, you find something and you're like, well, I probably, if I ask most men if they like shopping, there's very few men I know on the planet that I know. There are men that I know love shopping, but of men I know, right, that love shopping. And I love shopping. And like finding a really good, comfortable like sweater or a pair of denims or something that you really loved and that you love wearing is happiness to me. What else? I think also travel. Like I'm a big, I love traveling. And there's a point where, and I am known, because I travel a lot by myself, which which people always find like really weird. And I love traveling with people. I travel with friends all the time, but I really love traveling by myself. And there's something about traveling by yourself when you are somewhere like a museum. Like I find myself, my happiest place is the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam.
I've never been to Amsterdam yet.
Beautiful city, amazing. At one point thought I wanted that was actually the first place I wanted to move to in Europe.
Yeah.
Years ago when I was in my 20s, and I was like, this place, it felt like home to me. Still does. I go and I see it, and I love visiting. But the Van Gogh Museum, and if you have not gone, everyone should go. If you love Van Gogh, Van Gogh, however you want to say it. I say Van Gogh.
Yep.
And that museum, it's like, for me, I always tell people, I said, that's my church to me. But it's like my happy place. Like, I can stand in front of a Van Gogh painting for hours and just feel like comforted. I don't need to read anything. I know it. I know them. Like, you stand in front of sunflowers and it is like magic. Or you stand in front of his painting Starry Night, which is one of my, I think my favorite one of his. And it's like being in heaven. So it's just happy. It's just happy. I went like last year. I haven't been for a while. I haven't been since the pandemic had ended. And I went, and I remember just sitting in the Van Gogh Museum. And it's always crowded because everyone goes to the Van Gogh Museum. And I was just standing there, and I just stood there for like 15 minutes in front of this one painting. It was not Starry Night. It was the one of irises.
Right.
Which is also beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was just standing there. And this woman was, at one point, I turned around, and she was looking at me like, and she's like, she was like, okay? Are you okay? Because I was just like standing there, and I said, oh no, it's a beautiful painting. She said, oh, it's beautiful. She said, you love this painting. I said, I love every painting in here. So that's my happy place. That's my happy. If you ask me what my happy place is.
We went to Paris to see, because there's some Van Gogh paintings in. It's not the Louvre. It's I forget the other.
I've been to almost every museum in Paris.
But there's some Van Gogh in one of the art galleries there.
Yeah.
And this was actually, we went for my daughter's 13th birthday. She wanted to go to Paris on her 13th birthday to go and see, because Starry Night was in there.
Is it there? Yeah.
Yep. And a few others. And that's what she wanted. She wanted to go and see the Van Gogh paintings, and she wanted to go to Paris.
Yeah.
There's not many 13-year-olds asked to do that for their birthday, their 13th birthday.
No.
And she stood in front of that and cried.
It's that type of thing. That painting that makes me cry. Is it the d'Orsay? Musée d'Orsay?
Yes, the Musée d'Orsay.
Yes.
Museum d'Orsay.
Yeah. That made me cry when I saw that. I knew I liked your daughter for a reason. I have yet to meet her, but I knew I loved her for a reason, because she and I would probably both stand in front of that painting and cry.
Oh yeah, the two of you would, absolutely. And I went to. Did you do the experience when they were doing the Van Gogh experience, and you could go in, and actually it was like you were inside the paintings? Or you must get a chance to, if you get a chance to go, because that was just incredible. You're sitting there, and it's this full 3D reality of that they're showing the paintings around you.
Yeah.
And it was quite something.
I remember it came here, and I thought to go, but then I also thought, is this going to spoil my experience of what I know Van Gogh to be? Mm-hmm. And so next time I should go, because it just probably will just enhance it. But I was one of the people that was like, I don't know if that's going to be the thing. But I mean, I could just go to Amsterdam and see a painting, right? See his paintings. Yeah. Or go to Paris.
Yeah. So that's the thing about then those experiences that really touch us, that make us happy, and for you, shopping as well. So I'm probably one of the world's worst. I mean, for me, shopping, I don't like most shops. I think because most shops don't do my colours, right? That's my thing. I can walk in somewhere very quickly and go, nah, because they don't have bright colours. The colours. I love a rummage in a charity shop, because because I like to find things that are, again, I suppose it's just the, like, oh, that's really interesting. There's something, and it's always the colour that appeals to me and draws me in. I'm so drawn in by bright colours. And so it's like there's something about the luck of finding something that is in it's the right size and the right colour and fit, because it's not like going into a shop where you go, oh, I'll try that one on and it doesn't quite fit, so I'll get another size. But you can't do that so there's something about the kind of like the rummage around a store and most charity shops now are they're not like they used to be when we used to talk about going to jumble sales. When I was small, you went to a jumble sale, which was just like a table
sale?
A table usually in a church hall with lots of second hand clothes and things people were throwing out, and literally it was just piled high, and you had to just like this through the pulling through stuff, right? But jumble sales were that's where you went if you were kind of poor. You would go to a jumble sale to buy things, whereas now it's actually trendy to go to a charity shop and buy stuff, because we are saving the planet by not throwing stuff out. And so it's kind of my happy place. So my shopping days consist, if I'm going shopping with my friends, it's charity shops. If there's some esoteric type shops that'll have crystals and oracle cards and weird and wonderful witchy stuff, and cups of tea, and then somewhere nice we can have tea and cake. Tea and a scone, tea and a bit of cake. That's my shopping level. Or B&Q. I do like B&Q.
I do like B&Q. I think because I've now have my own place, I now will go in B&Q and just walk around B&Q, and I find myself going, why are you just walking around this place? Like, what do you need? Nothing. I just like being in it. It's just I do love B&Q. I agree with you on that. I do love B&Q. It's funny because I really love new stuff. This is the difference between us, right? You love a good charity shop, and I love, to me, and I think as a kid, I remember buying used clothes, right? Well, now they call them pre-loved clothes. Yeah. They're used. You could call them a new name and call them pre-loved, but they're used. That's okay. Used is fine. Things that are used by other people are fine, right? But I love, there's something about, especially a new pair of shoes or a new pair of boots, will make me go, oh yeah, right? I'm like, great, and I love them, and then I will wear them until they die, and then I buy a new pair. And sometimes not until they die. I buy a new pair anyway because I saw another one I love. But it's interesting. I'm thinking about years ago. This is when I was in my 20s. I remember, and in your 20s, I think in your 20s, you never know if you're happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least I felt like it. I never knew if I was always asking myself the question, am I happy? Am I happy? Am I happy? Is this happy? Is this making me happy? Is this happy? Is this happy? And I remember saying it to a friend of mine, and he looked at me, and he was like, it's all subjective, Gerald. Why are you... wise beyond his years, but he's like, it's all subjective. What are you looking for? What are you hoping? What do you think the answer is going to be? Only you can answer the answer. Only you can answer that. It totally changed my whole perspective on thinking about happiness. Strangely, instead of asking, "Am I happy?" of going, what's making me happy? What do I need to make me happy? Or what do I want to make me happy? I don't need anything to make me happy. What do I want to make me happy? Just living in the moment of happiness.
Yes.
Rather than worrying about whether or not, am I happy now? Am I happy now? Of just being like, you are happy, and sort of knowing it and feeling it. It's like when I was saying my friends were here, and there's a moment where we were all walking around Edinburgh, and I think we had gotten ice cream. There's a picture of it, me and my friend Dave, and there's a picture of us eating ice cream. It's like two 50-year-old men, almost 60-year-old men, eating ice cream, standing there, and I remember thinking to myself, like, this is, I love this. And we were there, and my friend Carolyn, his wife Carolyn, is there. We've all known each other from college, and then their daughter, and we're just all standing there, and they're not having ice cream, but he and I are having ice cream, and it's just hilarious. And I was just like, yeah, this is it. This is goodness. Mm-hmm. This is goodness.
And when we spot those, I think that's the thing. If you can spot those moments and you realise then that that's the thing, is that happiness exists. And I think for me, the happiness exists in those small moments, is the things that we can really see. Yeah. And not this idea that, oh, I'll be happy when I have the perfect job, the perfect partner, the big house, I can afford to go on all these luxury holidays, and I'll be happy when I get there.
Yeah. Like happiness is there. Happiness is that thing. Happiness is this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how many of us, and you talk about shoes. When I was younger, I used to love shoes. That was my thing as well. It was like buy shoes. And you would buy a pair of shoes and you would get that buzz of, oh, I've got new shoes, whatever it is. And you wear them for a little while and then it's like, okay, so they're not new anymore, because then they start to get a little scuffed or whatever. And then it's like, oh, so now I need another new pair of shoes. And I need another new, and you get a little buzz for that next new pair. Then they talk about it being the was it the hedonic treadmill? This thing about whatever you buy and whatever you have that you think is going to bring you happiness, and you realise that the buzz of happiness that you get from a thing doesn't last so long. So it's having to get the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and it's that because that's you equate that buzz of excitement with the thing and think that that's happiness, but it's like And that's unfortunately what drives a lot of people in the world, because they've maybe never stopped and thought about what actually really does make me feel happy.
What makes me feel? What makes me? I always happy. Happiness. I don't know if you equate happiness with joy, right? But those things around them, when people say, "What brings you joy?" Right? What brings you happiness? What's that thing? Right? And it's interesting because I think about, not to harp on shopping again, but how I view it is different. Like, to your point of like shoes, right? It used to be like I would buy new stuff and I had new stuff and I had new stuff. Like when I left the US to move to the UK and I'd left my job and I was getting rid of stuff because, we had to downsize because I'm like, I don't need all this stuff to move to another country. I had so much, like I was on that hedonistic treadmill because I would just buy stuff again and again, and shoes. So I'd like, at one point, I had 50 pairs of shoes. Did I wear all 50 pairs of shoes? No. And there were some of those shoes very expensive, and I had all these shoes, and I was like, shoes and suits and all these things and stuff I bought once and I wore once and I never wore again. Right? And I think now that I've gotten older, it's more about I'm happy finding that thing, and then I'm happy to have it. And like, right, I just bought a pair of boots over the winter. It's like, and they're red. And literally, I get compliments on them all the time. I mean, they're red, and people look at them and they're like, "Wow!" Like, I'm not a pair I ever thought I would buy. And no pair of boots. I don't want another pair of boots. Usually, I'd be like, "Wow, let me buy another pair of boots." I'm like, I'm gonna wear these boots until they disintegrate on my freaking feet because I love them so much, right? And then I'm like, "Wow, this is the thing." And I realize my relationship to shopping has changed, but my relationship to those things, right? Because to your point of it, right, things, you can have things that make you happy, but it's a very fleeting happiness. Unless you just really sort of like, you understand why that thing makes you happy, right? And I think that's the thing. I think people are looking for external things to make them happy. And I will agree. I'm one of those people that, used to find it was all about external things, right? To make me happy. What's going to make me happy? Is a person going to make me happy? Is it a place going to make me happy? Is it a thing? And then it's to your point of it's the small things, right? And realizing that it's like standing in front of Van Gogh. Like, that's a small thing. Yeah. But that made me happy. That makes me happy, right? Being with friends and those small moments of friends, of things where you're all sitting together and you're doing stuff, and us talking makes me happy. Right?
Oh, yeah. I love this.
Like, I love this. We get together, we talk, and I'm buzzing for like hours at a time. It's like, oh my God, this is great. We had this conversation.
Yeah.
So these things, the happy. And I think to your point, if more people thought about internal happiness and what's going to not what's going to make you happy. I guess it's back to that question of my friend saying, "Am I happy?" and me asking myself, "Am I happy?" Actually, nowadays, as I ask myself that question, I would say yes. I'm very happy. I'm very great because I live where I want. I have friends. I do what I want. I go. Things are it right.
Yeah. I think so. That's the thing around. As long as our basic needs are covered, because this is the thing, right? So we need, if we've got a roof over our head, if we've got food, if we've got some money in the bank that we can pay for some things, right? Some luxuries. If we've got family and friends or people that we actually connect well with, then those are, for me, those are the essentials. Those are the building blocks of things for happiness. And then we can have the things that bring some excitement and bring some extra joy, and you can go, I know that I want to experience different things. I want to try, and learn something new, challenge myself a little bit, and doing something different, and those things then bring me joy and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when I look at the world, then the concern is that not everyone has the same even basics. But there was a wonderful film. It's called Happy, and it was actually, these filmmakers went out and they looked at what make people happy, and it was like exploring people around the world, and they went to really poor area. I'm sure it was in India, and they were living in what most people would equate to being like a shack, a shanty town, right? There wasn't a lot, but the chap that was there, and he worked hard, and he came back, and he said he was happy, and his family were happy, and because they had a roof, they had some food, he had work that he actually enjoyed, his family were healthy, and he said, we're happy. We don't need. Yes, could they have more things and more money and all of the, maybe some of the luxury trappings that other people have? Yes, but it was really interesting to see them saying, though, this was he spent time, and you saw him with his children, and I'm laughing, and and it's like, so there's some of those things about coming back to the absolute basics.
That's the thing. The absolute basics.
But it does.
It's not about things, right? I think I remember reading an article, it's a while ago, about Bhutan being the happiest place on earth, right? People in Bhutan are the happiest people on earth, primarily because they're like, we're alive, we have what we need. We don't need all these things. They don't have TVs. They do their thing. They go outside. They live outdoors. They fish. They do all these things. And like I said, it's back to like what's the basic things that you need to make you happy, to be happy, right? To make you happy. What are the basic things you need to be happy?
Be happy?
To be happy, not to make you happy, but to be happy.
Because we live in a society that here we go, like this a bit of philosophical approach to this, where the people who are manufacturing goods and services want to persuade us that we need to buy their stuff.
Things. Right. More things. Buy
more
things
so that we will be happy. So, and we are now, that's the thing, we're bombarded with this all the time. You look at all the advertising for products, is that kind of like, here you are, if you want to, here we are, we'll see the handsome man in his suit with his fancy watch on, and and he's he's
Gerald at 30. Walking down the street, that's Gerald at 30. That's true. That's 30.
Yeah. But that thing around that, yeah, that's what you have to aspire to have that, because that's what's going to bring you happiness. That's it. You'll know you've made it then, when you've got all this stuff. And that's the thing, is that, if you're not bombarded with all these messages, if you don't see all the stuff that appears on social media, if you don't see all the stuff that appears on the TV, there's nothing to tell you that you're not happy as you are just now, because you don't have all these things, and you're not connected to all this sort of stuff. So that's I think that's where I can then understand that people who are living in a much simpler society and way of life, they are then just tuning in and going, okay, well, actually I feel joy, contentment, happiness, whatever. Yeah. Which kind of takes me back. So, that for many years I ran happiness clubs and kind of encourage people to consider what it was that actually made them feel happier.
You wrote a book.
And what I did, I wrote a book, book plug From Heartbreak to Happiness. Yeah, it was a journey of hope. Yeah, it was a journey of hope. So this was me, talking about my intention to come back to being happy after my son Callum's death. And the kind of the spur for that, I suppose, at the start was me recognising that after Callum dying, it was a black and bleak time in our lives. But we were happy as a family. And I had this view that Callum could see us. I believed that his soul spirit lived on, and he was able to see us still living here, and that he needed to be able to see us happy again, because otherwise, meningitis had claimed more victims, if you like, because, if we weren't living our lives in a happy way, then, how, and that was like, you're looking at, I wouldn't want any of my family to be unhappy if, when I'm not here. Okay, for a little while you can be, but
being happy, right? For a bit, right? For a bit.
Yeah,
for a bit.
Yeah.
Be sad.
But that thing of just wanting to kind of be happy. So that was the driver for me, and then it was like just some of the things that I sort of put in place, and I realised that I did become happier. And I was on a woman on a mission then, right? I was on a woman on a mission to make the world happier, because I was going, there's so much of this that we don't really talk about. What really makes us happy, what is important, where we go. And at the time, we talk about serendipity, right? So I am, been doing some work on myself. I'm finding the ways to kind of get up in the morning and find a little bit of light in the day, and just from simple things when you're feeling really, really sad. Do you know that if you stick a pen in your mouth, right, it actually turns your lips up. So
okay, hold on, I'm finding it.
So your brain thinks you're smiling.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right? I never so when you that. Can't, I know it's like who knew? So, but the thing is, if you're really, when you're really low, and if anybody is ever really feeling it, and if you are listening to this, and whether you yourself are kind of struggling and feeling low, or people around you who are struggling and feeling low, I didn't have the energy to do a lot of things that people would say, oh, get out and go for a run. That boosts your mood and you'll feel better, right? At the time, if I managed to get out of bed and put clothes on and get downstairs and make a cup of tea, that took effort. And for a lot of people, if they are, really feeling low and depressed, then that's really hard. So I was going, okay, I need something really simple. And when you do that, if you think you smile, and you're going, oh, the last thing you might feel like is smiling. But when you do that,
put a pen in your mouth.
Put a pen in your mouth. It turns the
frown
it
upside down.
activates the muscles, turns your frown upside down, and your brain, because our brains don't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined and what the reality is, your brain actually activates and goes, oh, there's a smile, so that's interesting. So it starts to make things, it starts to shift stuff. The other thing, if you sit and you look up, so if you actually look up, because again, Gerald, if you say to you just now, pretend you're depressed and you're feeling really low and miserable.
Okay.
Yeah.
You look down.
What do we do?
You look
we
down,
look down.
Right?
We look down. We're in our feelings. That's often the thing where, our brain's activated into that feeling centre and we're like, oh goodness. And actually just lifting our heads up and looking up shifts how you feel.
Yeah.
Shifts how you feel. So there's these really simple things, right, that just started, and there was, there's lots of other little things that I started to do that just, had a little bit of it made a difference. So I had been doing all this work for myself, thinking about, okay, so I'm now feeling happier, and I'm talking to others about, because people were seeing it, they were seeing it in me, and they were seeing the impact then that it has on me is that I am then more resilient. I'm then able to cope with more things because I'm feeling better. I'm feeling a bit happier within myself. I've got a little bit more energy, so I can then help. I could help my husband, I could help my daughter cope with their grief and how they were feeling. So people were seeing it, and I'm then having these conversations like, this is some simple stuff that people don't really know, we don't talk about. And then going, well, what else makes you happy? So I've got all these little conversations happening. And then one day I turn on the news. And here's an organisation just been launched in the UK called Action for Happiness.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And Action for Happiness, at that point, there was a bit of, the BBC were doing this programme about what does it take to be happy, and what is about connecting with other people, and sometimes it's the simple things in life, and there are things that you can do to make you feel happier, and they were encouraging people to look at what actions they could take, and they wanted to kind of get people to kind of come on board with them with this idea. And I was just sitting watching this going, this is what I've been thinking about. I've been having these conversations, me up in Scotland, here's this organisation in London starting to talk about, happiness. And I just thought, okay, all right, this is brilliant. This is exactly what so I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm signing up to their newsletters and everything. And I'm going, I'd love, so I'm saying, I'd love to do stuff with them someday. That would be really good. Me being, my next thing is, okay, so what can I do? I think I'm going to just invite some friends round. In fact, we'll find somewhere we can go and invite people round, and we're going to have a conversation about happiness. Get people talking about things round a table. Brought a lot of, just as my usual, just invited people that I knew who didn't know each other, but just people who came, and we had a conversation about happiness. People were like, oh, this has been a really interesting. These aren't the conversations that we usually have. And I just said, so who would be up for maybe doing this once a month? Folks said, yeah, not everybody did. Folks were like, it's been nice, but I don't know if it's for me, that's fine. And that was how the Happiness Club started.
Okay.
That was how Happiness Club started.
Interesting. It's interesting, right? If more people, if you got together, and this is the part of where I think if you have friends are important, but also just being able to share or talk about happiness with people, right? And how you make new friends. But if thought process of people getting together to talk about happiness, right? And sort of, because I think what winds up happening is, and if you've been this way, so when you're not feeling good, it's not depression, right? That's a whole different issue. I think it's sadness, right? And or things aren't going your way, or things are bad. You tend to sort of wallow in it in yourself, right? And by yourself. And people will ask you how you're doing. And what's our normal thing is to say, I'm fine. I'm fine. I do it all the time. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Instead of being like, right? And I think we get to the point where you don't want to burden people with your things, right? So you're like, I'm not fine, actually. My day was shit. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it would probably be better if you said, my day was shit. You talk about it. with someone, and that's a friend of yours, and you talk about why the day is not happening and what's going on and what's happening. And I think just to lighten your load and then reciprocate that, because I think that's where the problem comes in, where people don't reciprocate that. They like, my friend has helped me unburden myself. Great. Instead of being like, how is your day?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you doing? Right? I find that to be something that's really lacking, is the reciprocation of people, right, sort of sharing each other's, what's going on in their lives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To be able to get back to a point of happiness or shared happiness, or something that's like, wow, right? Ask someone, even if I don't need your advice, I just want you to listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like, how do you get back to the state of happiness?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And get back to that state of being.
And I think, I probably, with a lot of people that I knew, they might ask, sometimes people will ask you how you are, and they don't really want to know the answer.
Yes.
We've got people, we all probably know people like that who are saying, how are you? And if you actually start to go, oh, I'm not good, you can see them like with a panic look in their eyes.
I want to really know that you're not doing good.
Yeah. And then we've got people in our lives who genuinely, care and want to know. But there's also, I think the thing is, and I'm thinking of this from my experience of workplaces, where it would then be, oh God, somebody would say, I'm not having a good day, or things aren't going well. And it would then just be this negative spiral, because everybody would then just kind of like jump in. And you could feel the, that way you can feel the energy being sucked out of everything.
Yeah.
There's with the energy vampires that I would call them, that you spend time with and you go, oh my God. And that thing about it's, and I don't know, is this a British UK thing, of the tendency to then go, oh, like, how's your day? Oh, my day's shit. Oh, my day's worse. It's that there's like, just go down that. How do we outdo each
other's shit day? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And is that the same as, because you always, I think from this side of the pond, looking across to the States, you would always go, oh, everybody in America's go, oh, how are you? Oh, great, everything's wonderful. Yeah. And you would look, Scott, how are you? Oh, God. Or like the thing they would say in Scotland, no bad. Never mind, I'm fine.
No
it's
bad.
No bad.
No bad. No bad.
No bad.
No bad. Well, it's interesting in America, right? Because everyone's like, I'm fine. And no one's fine. Right? It's amazing how it has become, it's automatic, right? It's automatic, right? Like, it's funny because I moved here and I will ask people, I'm like, how you doing? And I remember someone saying, like, you actually don't care. I said, I wouldn't ask the question if I don't actually want to know how you're doing, right? And if you're having a bad day, I'm happy to listen to it about having a bad day, right? In America, right, you'd say, I'm fine. And we all would be like, I'm fine. It's only with your friends that you'd be like, right, you would say, I'm fine, and your friends would know you are not okay, right? But everyone else is sort of like, right, and the opposite here, where it's like, oh, I'm having a shit day. Me too. My day is shittier than your day, right? Whereas we're just like happy, like we all seem like we're on Prozac or some sort of drug to be like, I'm having a great day. I'm having a great day. It's funny because when I got here, I would ask people how you doing, and I ask everyone how you're doing because I actually do care, right? I'm actually like, how are you? And I think it's a nice thing to do that. How are you? Oh, I'm fine. Oh, good. Because I do it in shops. I do it to people, and people be like, why are you asking? And you could tell when I first moved here, and I would say, I think I was in a store, and I said to the salespeople, it was during the pandemic, and they were like, and I said, how are you? And the two young women stopped, and they're like, what? I was like, how are you? And they're like, well, we're okay. It's all right. It's kind of how it works. I said, oh, yeah, it must be really hard. And started a conversation where I then got into a conversation with them. Probably because I was starved for conversation as well. But also because I actually cared. And I actually was like, who else? And it's funny because a line began to form in back of us because we started having a conversation about how they were doing. And then we started laughing because we started talking. And that was my thing, was like, I I would hope to get you to a point that I'm trying to like get you to a point where you're like, oh, okay, you're having a bad day. Well, hopefully I'm not going to help make your day worse. I would like to help help make your day. At least if you can smile a little bit, that's great. Or if you can just go on, not smile, but be like, oh, that was a nice customer. He didn't like make me feel like crap. That's,
Yeah. Because that's the thing, is that you know the times of the interactions that you've had with people that can really, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a huge interaction, but it actually leaves your day you feel better because, somebody's smiled at you, or somebody's said hello, or they might have stopped and, and if you see me, you'll definitely, I'll be stopping having a chat with you, because that's just my thing, So, but yeah, and that way of, also then when I started then to say, so you would listen to people, when they're having a bit of a moan, or, just letting stuff off, letting the steam go.
Yeah.
But then say, but what's good? What's been good in your day? Nothing. And you go, well, but there's something good.
Something was good.
There's something good.
Something was good.
And then I would go, well, you're breathing.
You're breathing. Right. You're breathing. You're walking. You're mobile. Many people are not.
Yeah.
Right. You're breathing. Yeah. Right. You're breathing the air. Your eyes are open. You're able to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that then, and people go, oh, right, okay. And that we just, that can interrupt that pattern a little bit when you're just going, oh, the world's terrible. Everything's really difficult. It's, this isn't a good place. Whatever's going on, all the things that we can tell ourselves, and we can be really hard on ourselves as well. And then just suddenly being able to stop and go, well, maybe there is something here maybe there is something, Yeah. And it's that coming back to gratitude, which is one of my favourite things. You come back to gratitude.
Yeah.
So then, we used to have conversations, sort of around the dinner table, and it would be, okay, so what's your good things from today? 3 good things. Yeah. 3 good things from today. Yeah. And sometimes you'd be sitting with friends that would look at you and go, oh God, here she's going to go again. It's like, what's my 3 good things? But the way that it shifts, and you notice the energy changes. And the energy within yourself changes. And then you see somebody else just then leave a little bit lighter from their interaction with you. And I suppose that's always been my thing. It's like, if somebody feels better from having a little bit of a conversation, then, that's great. So.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Happiness.
So yeah, happiness. And I think, but it's not about being happy all the time, and that's the other thing I would say. It isn't about going, oh, just pretend that you're happy, like we said, and it's not pretending that we're happy. It's a bit like we were talking before about kindness, and me saying, well, kindness isn't always fluffy. It's like happiness isn't. It's also acknowledging that there are times when difficult things happen. And difficult things happen to ourselves, or there's difficult things that are happening in the world that actually have an impact. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that pretending that we just put the smile on, we just do that all the time with the and pretending that we are fine and that the world's okay isn't the way that we'll actually all be happier.
Yeah.
Because it is about being realistic around what some of the things that are going on. But maybe not engaging too much with what else is happening that's out with our control, because I think that's also an element of how we are happy. Because there's certain things that we can control and there's things that we can't.
Yes.
And when we get caught up in all of the things that we can't control, and that actually can quite easily suck the happiness from you, because we get so caught into what's happening outside of ourselves at times.
Yeah. It was making me think. I watched a documentary on Netflix. It was a while ago. It was actually during the pandemic. I watched a lot of TV during the pandemic, as most of us did. I watched a lot of TV, a lot of Netflix, because I don't have regular DVD, but I had Netflix. And there was a documentary about social media and all this. And one of the things that they said, turn off the notifications on your phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Turn off all the notifications on your phone. Because what you're doing is every time you look at your phone, you're waiting for something. And it's creating that dopamine hit. But you're doing it, but also most of the times you're looking at things, and the things you then go into the thing of looking at other things on your phone, and that's where the doom scrolling begins, because you're looking at all the things, all the bad things happening in the world, and blah, blah. And I turned off all notifications on my phone. I think I have only two. One is when people text me, and when I want food delivered to my house, are the only notifications on my phone. I've never been happier. I've never been happier. It's been that way now for 4 or 5 years that I've turned off all the notifications on my phone. I have never been happier, right? Because it was like I was realizing it kept taking me back to that place of like, oh, the world is shit. Things are bad. Oh, this is bad. Oh God, let me now read the news. Oh, now let me do this. Oh, this is happening.
Yeah.
And now it's like I engage with it when I engage with it.
Mm-hmm.
News. Things, what's going on in the world, when I want to engage with it. Not because I'm being forced to engage with it, because my phone keeps pinging me that I need to be engaged with it, right? And it's back to that thing of like, the thing kept coming to my brain about, for some reason, toxic happiness, right? And that thing of like, I don't want to be happy all the time. Because people will ask me, they're like, you smile all the time. Like, you always seem happy. You're always so bright and sunny. And I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm not always this way. But when I'm out in the world with people, because I like people, and I like the world, and I like being outside, and I like food, and I like the things. So I don't find anything in those moments to be upset about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's always a smile on my face, because I'm always like, I'm out with people, things, stuff.
Yeah.
I'm around people. I'm hanging out. I'm doing stuff. And if I'm not having a good day, it's at home. Usually because that's something that's happened or something I'm in my brain and I'm thinking about things. And then I will, but that's what friends are, right? You have friends and if you're not having a good day and this gets really bad, I'm like, I call up somebody or I talk to somebody, or then I'm like, oh, the day's been kind of crappy, and we'll go through it. And I'm like, how's your day? And and you get back to that thing of how you bring both yourselves out of it, right? How you are there to uplift each other to do it, rather than it being. But I to your point of it being like, I do think there's some people who think Gerald is maniacally happy because he seems to be happy all the time. And I'm like, oh, I right? There was a point in my life where I was not, right? Like you with Callum, when my parents passed away, my grandmother, my mother passed away, I was a dark place. That was a dark place. That was a dark time for a number of years, where I was trying to have external things make me happy, right? And we won't go into that because that's a whole nother podcast about all the external things that I was trying to do to make me happy. And it took a long time to realize that none of those things were going to make me happy, right? And I had to pull myself out of it. And like you said, with Callum, my mother wouldn't have wanted me to be unhappy continually, right? And to be sad continually. They would have been like, okay. My grandmother especially would have been like, get up off your ass and do something, right? Now, stop now. You're done. We had some time. You did it. Go do your thing, right? And it's not sort of like not about group, but it's about how you have to put one foot in front of the other to then find your way back to being like, okay, when do I start to recognize the things that will help me be happy?
Yeah.
Or the small things that will help me be noticing, like, right, this cup of coffee. It was making me think of when you said small things, down to like, this cup of coffee is really, oh, I'm glad I got this cup of coffee. It's so good, right? Oh, I ate that sandwich. That was a good sandwich, right?
Yeah.
That was a good thing,
So there's the things that immediately we can do for ourselves and recognise that we've got stuff around us, perhaps that we can, like you said, just sit and enjoy that cup of coffee, or we sit outside and watch the lambs run up and down the hill or whatever, that we can do for ourselves. But there's another aspect, I think, that that has shown consistently about helps people to feel happier, and it's when they are connected to something beyond themselves. Now, for some, that sense of there's a purpose. I suppose it's about purpose and meaning then in our lives.
Yeah.
And for some it might be religion, It's never really been my thing, but For some, it might be religion. For some, it could be part of a, whether you're part of a larger group of, so you could be a member of the Ramblers Association or something, and you all go hill walking but it's the thing, then you're part of something else, you're connected to some other societal, community in some sort of way. And I think that's the bit, is that, I could have stayed, just going, okay, I'm a bit happier now. I've done the things that have helped me to be happier. My desire to then spread happiness was to create opportunities for people to come together over a shared thing and explore different ways of being happy. And being connected to something beyond ourselves. And, for me, it's it's definitely, there's a kind of spiritual aspect of that for me, and just, beyond just the kind of, the 3D physical world. But if we have got this sense of being able to be part of a community in whatever thing that is, whatever the thing that actually brings you together with those other people. And that helps us to feel connected. It's maybe that thing around, it's that bit of that we're not just on our own, and being part of something like another community that actually helps us to feel happier, helps us just to kind of to raise our own levels of happiness, and also the people around us. And if you're not happy, and that, like what you were saying, that because you were talking about the days that you're not, tending to be then pulled back in your space for yourself. And I think that's that was just kind of highlighting that sort of thing around, just being connected to other people and having some sort of sense of things, something beyond you. So it's not just all about what's going on in your head. So what's your thoughts on that?
It's interesting. I'm thinking about being connected, and it makes me think about being connected to, like, I'm still very close friends with many of my friends from university. 35. We just had our 35th college reunion last year, so I'm still very close to many of my friends, and that feels like that being part of that community makes me happy, brings me joy. Like, I see them. I went to my reunion. It was great to see everybody and to be those things, right? And I think, it's interesting because it always makes me think of that being part of something makes me happy, but I don't know if it's the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not, maybe I'm misreading it, what you're saying, but I get it. Because I think about you, I'm a Buddhist, and I'm not a religious person, right? I've never, there are people who find their happiness from church and going to church and, their relationship with God, whichever God they worship. Right. And I practice Buddhism, and I guess does it make me happy? Yes, because it makes me feel like I get back to myself and to the universe and to understand part of that. And I guess maybe that's the thing, right? It's like thinking that the thing that makes me happy is knowing I'm part of a larger universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that but also part of thing, right? You might not know this about me. I'm a huge geek. I'm a huge geek. You're like, I know that about you, Gerald. And so, right. And so I've been to Comic-Con in San Diego, like the big one in San Diego a couple times. And there's something about, I go with my friend Valerie, and there's something, it was funny when we were there, and we always comment on being part of this huge community where people are nice, everyone is worshiping whatever thing is within that world of Comic-Con they worship and they love and they go to is them, but you just watch. No one is ever mad. I've never seen an argument at Comic-Con. Everyone is happy. People dress up. I don't dress up. I'm not a cosplayer. But that community. So if you think about it, yes, that sort of thing of being larger than something, of being part of a community is the thing, right? And figuring out what that community is that you are part of, right? That you are connected to, and in that community, what in that community brings you joy and brings you happiness and brings you sort of that closer to that sort of like thing, right? It's that, if you ever get a chance to go to Comic-Con in San Diego, It's humongous. It's like hundreds of thousands.
I think we need to go together. I think you need to take me then. We need to go.
I should take you. I should take you. It is fantastic. It's great, right? And you just walking around and people are cosplaying and you go see panels and you go see stuff and it's all like some show that you have not seen is having a reunion and you go see this show and you go see these things and you find your tribes of people who like watch the same show you watch, right?
Yeah.
And things. Yeah. And that sort of like, I think when I'm there, it's like I'm permanently happy as I'm there because you're part of something. And I'm like, I've suddenly sort of plugged into the mothership of things, of that thing that brings me joy. The thing that brings me joy when I'm watching TV or watching a show or doing by myself. And then suddenly you're like, oh. Yeah. And now we're all sharing our happiness and our joy together. Yeah. And that.
Yeah. I mean, I did, we did go to a few of the, I mean, not probably quite as big as the whole sort of Comic-Con stuff, but there would be similar type events, over in, in Glasgow. And I remember, because, my hubby's a bit of a geek, definitely. Callum was, Kirsten. I mean, even Kirsten. Yeah, I mean, there's things that they, like the shows and stuff that they loved. So, going along to see some of that. In fact, I had a little post last week. We'll see if you get this reference. So, as you know, I do love tea, right? So if you're thinking, where is she going with this? I love tea. I opened my container with my tea bags, and there wasn't very many tea bags in there, and I just went, emergency, emergency. There's an emergency. And I said, if anybody gets the reference to that show, they can come and have a cup of tea with me when I actually fill this container up. Do you know what show that's from?
Well, I'm trying now to remember. Is it a British show? Is it a UK show? Because I might not know it. It's a UK show. Right.
It's a UK show. It was called Red Dwarf. Have you seen Red Dwarf?
I've heard of it. I've never watched an episode. I've heard of it. I've seen it. I've never watched an episode. No.
Oh, Gerald, you need to go and watch Red Dwarf, because that's Holly the computer, basically. Whenever there's something going wrong with emergency, emergency, there's an emergency. And it's funny then, because just saying that, there'll be a whole lot of people that perhaps are going, Red Dwarf? People in the States maybe going, we've never heard of Red Dwarf. You'll love it if you go and watch it. I'll be interested to see if you go and find some episodes.
It's on Netflix, I think, yeah.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But yeah, it is that kind of connecting in with the stuff around that, community. So whether that's, your Comic-Con community or, that when I, get with I suppose for me, there was a lot of stuff going around to the Mind, Body and Soul fairs. Same sort of thing, right? Because I would go, there used to be huge events, that they used to run in the concert hall, the Royal Concert Hall in Glasgow. I loved going there because you would go in and there would be, I suppose, same sort of thing. It was the people who were interested in the things that you were interested in. So there would be stalls with people selling, like crystals and, having oracle cards and books and all sorts of, I'm just looking at all my weird and wonderful witchy things that are, spells and shamanic stuff. And then you would have all these people doing talks. So then there'd be people then who were going and were speaking about whatever it was, their connection to things. And I met some amazing people there. I mean, I've talked before about David Hamilton. I first met David Hamilton there. I first met this chap called Sandy Newbiggin, who actually lives over in the States now, and he does a lot of stuff around sort of mindfulness and meditation. And I met him when he was just this, I think him of being a wee boy, because he was a wee boy, just like, on with his stall selling his CDs of the things that he'd pulled together about coaching. And he was the one that actually said to me when we went into that place, he said about, think about NLP when I was exploring where I was going to kind of go and learn some new things. And he suggested NLP might be an option for me when I was thinking about maybe life coaching or studying psychology, and I didn't quite know what. And again, synchronicities of, I bumped into him, and then it was a whole different path of where life went. So I've got lots of happy memories about being in that big space. Sadly, those huge big events haven't, you know, the person who organised them sadly passed away. Someone else took it over. They never quite had, I think, the same energy to give it. So there are smaller events that happen in different places. But yeah, that big event, and that would be the thing. You would just be so buzzing because it was going. Because you think, I'm going to learn something for me, right? I'm going to meet people there who are interested in weird and wacky stuff too. You know, so it's like, you know, that we can be talking about, you know, about spiritual communication, about souls, about energy, about frequency, about, you know, like, you know, how you can heal using this, how, you know, all of that stuff, and nobody's looking at you like you're a bit
like you're weird,
crazy,
out of place. Yeah, like crazy, it's out of place, or any of those things.
Yeah. So just that thing with a Comic-Con or your thing, and that sense of belonging, I suppose, is something that
yes,
it's something probably that we all seek, because then if we feel that we belong somewhere, then we maybe feel more loved and accepted, and therefore, you know, is that happiness and joy, is feeling that we're loved and accepted for who we are, and not having to pretend to be something that we're not.
Yeah. I think the belonging part to me totally resonates, because it's like, right, you finding the place where you belong, the place where you might not necessarily fit, but you'll be accepted no matter who you are or what you believe in or what you do, in that place of where that belonging place, and all those things of you're different is actually okay for you to belong, for you to be there, because this is the place where you're supposed to be. Yeah. Right? That thing. I think you're right. I think that's happiness, right? That I think is happiness to me. I think, and when you think about bigger than yourself, right? It is that thing of thinking about finding the place where it's bigger than you, but you fit in, right? You are part of it, right? And you can be part of it, and you can not be part of it, right? You can go in, and I mean, that's the good thing about Comic-Con. I don't go every year. I go every couple of years. And you go and you come back. I think about it. It's making me think about how, you know. So I'm going to proclaim this out loud, because I think everyone should. I am the happiest. I'm gay, and I literally, there's moments where I'm like, I'm so happy to be gay. And I would be around my friends, and we'll say that. I remember my friends. We was like, all my other gay friends. We were sitting around, and we're like, what? Like, gay, as my queer friend, and we're like, I'm so happy to be gay. And how, like, happy we were to be gay, because it was just like, we just felt this freedom of being who we were. So it's part of that thing that's bigger than you, right? Of like, once you sort of accepted that, and like, I'm gay, this is who I am, about how happy I was. It wasn't a part about coming out or, you know, doing, it was a part about being, understanding and meeting other gay people, and being like, and creating that sort of family of people, and that happiness. And even now, you know, I'm like, oh God, at 58 years old, I'm still like, so happy to be gay. It's just great. And I was like, people are like, why? I'm like, just because. It's just who I am, and I'm excited to be gay.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe that's the thing.
It's about part of it. It's just,
yeah. Just about really getting to be clear about who you are.
Yeah.
And that thing about, you know, I mean, like, you know, we're going to be talking about love at some point.
At some point.
But I think the thing around, you know, like loving ourselves, you know, we've kind of mentioned this before, and we've talked about this, you know, sort of loving ourselves for who we are, accepting ourselves for who we are, knowing that we've, you know, we're always work in progress, and there's always other things to do.
Always work in progress.
But maybe that's the bit as well, of just about going, you know, that's it. Then we can be happy in ourselves, and we might like the trappings of, you know, nice red boots. I had a pair of pink Timberland boots once, right? That I got forever. I got it in a charity shop.
It's color.
Bright pink Timberland. Yeah, I've never found another pair of it. Yeah, it's pink. I mean, shocking pink. But yeah, that we can have these other things that again that we really identify with, because we know that they bring us joy. But ultimately, I think the connection and feeling that we belong, and knowing that we've got people in our lives, are the, you know, it's the things that absolutely, I know for me, you know, make me happy.
Yeah, Those are the main drivers of happiness. Yeah, those are main drivers of happiness. Of knowing you have people, knowing I have you in my life.
Absolutely.
Friends,
back at you.
Family members and people, right?
Yeah.
That makes me happy. I agree with that. That's if we end on anything, it's about, right, being happy with who you are and being happy that you have people in your life who put a smile on your face, right? And bring you joy. And that you can and that you hope you bring them joy. So.
Yeah. And if you're, and if you're feeling, listening to this, that maybe you don't have enough of that, then it's the case of maybe just let's encourage them to maybe reach out a little bit. Can I just read you a little poem? Sure. It's because we talk about smile, right? So
yes,
here's
please.
a little.
Yes, please.
If I can. So this is one of my. I can actually find it. Here we go. It's called the Smile Starter, right? So
you
smiling.
wrote this.
No. I didn't write it. I found it somewhere, right? But it's one of my favourites, right? I found it, and it's not, and I can't, you can't attribute it anywhere. It's around you. People find it on the internet, but it's one of those things that I love, right? And it says, "This smiling is infectious. You catch it like the flu. When someone smiled at me today, I started smiling too. I passed around the corner and someone saw me grin. When he smiled, I realised I'd passed it on to him. I thought about that smile, then I realised its worth. A single smile, just like mine, could travel round the earth. So if you feel a smile begin, don't leave it undetected. Let's start an epidemic quick and get the world infected."
I like it. It's a good way to end. That's a good one to end, right? Smile.
Good way to end. Yeah, with a smile.
Share your smile.
And there you are.
With
and
a smile.
There's a little smile with me and my boy.
Oh, there's Callum. You and boy.
There's Callum.
You and your boy.
And me.
Plug your book again. Plug your book again. Buy our book.
From Heartbreak to Happiness, A Journey of Hope. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there we are.
All
so
right.
Thank you for that.
There we are.
Thank you for that lovely conversation about happiness.
Thank you very much.
Feel happier.
Happiness. We probably talk about this again. I feel happier too. I'm like smiling. I'm like, oh, this is good. I have no doubt we could talk about this again, and we will. So
absolutely. Yeah.
That's great.
So
we hope you've enjoyed it. You out there.
We do indeed. And hopefully you can tune in next time. Thank you, folks.
Yes. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed our conversation. And if you did, it would be great if you could leave us a 5-star review and maybe even share this with someone else that you think might enjoy it.
Thanks for joining us, and we hope you join us next week for our next Soul Kind Connections conversation. Bye.